Hello, this is Micah and Mike, and welcome to our multi-part video series on creating a workflow solution. In this project, we will be creating a solution you can leverage to essentially seek approval from various approvers for a given process within your organization. In today's part one of our series, we will discuss the project's backlog, and then we will create the necessary SharePoint infrastructure. That said, I'm going to pass it over to Mike.
Thanks, Micah. So for starters, for the 4 parts mini-series, first section we're going to cover is the SharePoint infrastructure. We're going to create some SharePoint lists to house all the data. We're going to have one for approvers and one for invoices and one for customers. The next section after that is going to be the Power Automate, or Flow, as it used to be called. How to just start automating some of the invoice approval processes, sending emails out, notifying people when to edit or submit their invoices. And the next section after that is, I believe, the front end part where accounts receivable will use the interface. We will use Power Apps in this case to interact with the data, manage approvers, submit invoices, check the statuses, and adding new approvers or adding approvers. And last but not least, it is a Power BI report to create a visualization to kind of track the status of all the invoices from beginning to end. And I believe that's it. And we'll go ahead and get started with the SharePoint infrastructure. Back to you, Michael.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. So here on SharePoint, we've already created a site in advance of the video called Workflow Project. As Mike said, we have 3 lists. They're kind of outlined here at the bottom. We have Excel open down here. We have one list called Customer, and the purpose for this list is to have essentially a database of all the customers that exist. Here's an example. It's just a 1-column list. It's a single line text field, and we itemize all of our customers here. The second list we're going to cover is called Approvers. That looks like this. In theory, the customer field is coming from the customer list, and we're going to use Power Apps and/or Power Automate to populate this value. The other items, or the other columns here, accounts receivable, approver 1, approver 2, and approver 3. In this particular example, we're using up to 3 approvers. However, you could have more than this. These are all people picker fields, all these columns here. And then our third and final list, we've called it invoices. And now the point of this list is this is actually going to be the list that tracks on, or rather that all the invoices are submitted to for approval. So in the Power App, we'll have accounts receivable, create a new SharePoint list item on this list via the Power App. And Power Apps and/or Power Automate, depending on how we build it here, is going to go fetch data from, say, the approvers list. And it's going to pull in the customer, the accounts receivable, the approver 1, 2, and 3 people. And it's going to pre-create all these items for you based on the choices made in the Power App. We also have a field here for status for each approver. So approver 1 status, approver 2, and approver 3. And this will be the real-time status of those given approvers. So that's about it for part 1. Today is very light, just kind of covering the project from a high level. And our hope is next project, Mike, what do you think? Next part, we'll dive more into Power Apps and Power Automate and start creating.
Yeah, I think that'll be the meat of the content here when we go into Power Automate and Power Apps. Look forward to building it out with you. And for anyone else out there, if you have any other ideas or I would say problems that you want us to solve, feel free to tag us, put in description, comments, not description, comments, and we'll definitely get around to it.
Thanks, Mike.